What up? Welcome to the Too Tall Sports Podcast. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to check me out on Instagram at Too Tall Sports Podcast. Let's get it. What's up? Back for another episode with one of my favorite former sports professionals I used to work with, my good buddy Keith Swift. He's the strength and conditioning coach, or one of them, at Purdue University for the Boilermakers. Boiler up.
Boiler up.
There you go. What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, best I can, man, given the circumstances. Just quarantine like everybody else in the country.
Yeah. Is everything going good at home with everybody?
Yeah, man, we're healthy and we're blessed. We're just bored. Playing wrestling with the kids, that whole thing. So yeah.
I hear you, man. Totally get it. Well, glad you're healthy and everything. I want to give kind of people a background on you. So I met Keith when I was with the Seattle Mariners in minor league ball, and he was my strength and conditioning coach, and that's when I met him for the first time. So we've kind of built our relationship ever since. And I wanted to catch up with you and kind of give everybody your backstory. So I think you're from Jackson, Tennessee, right?
Jackson, Tennessee. I think you didn't play. Did you play there?
I played at that stadium, but I didn't play for obviously.
Oh, okay.
Jackson.
Yeah. Jackson, Tennessee, man. Yeah. Love City.
Man, are you happy to be out of there?
Yeah, a little bit, but then I also miss it. I mean, I wish I could visit a lot more, but yeah, I don't think I would want to live there.
Okay.
Give me another 40 years, maybe so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as far as your background goes, so you played defensive end at Tennessee Tech, is that right?
Played football. Yeah. In fact,
there it is.
I wasn't playing. I just threw that on today, and I was like, oh, yeah. So,
Still repping. You knew. Yeah.
Yeah. Golden Eagles, baby. Tennessee Tech. Played defensive end there. Yep.
Were you there for all 4 years?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, 5 if you include the red shirt year.
Got it. Okay.
So we call it Cook Vegas because it's all the lights in the middle of nowhere in Upper Cumberland. So once you're driving on I-40, all you see, you go from darkness to all these lights, and it looks like Las Vegas.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
that's cool. And then after you graduated, where did you go from there?
After I graduated, I got first I interned once I finished my playing career at Tennessee Tech. I interned for about right at a year, like actual 365 days.
Okay.
And I was trying to see what the next step was going to be. Went through the NSCA website, and I saw a bunch of internships and of course, assistant coach jobs and all this. So I just started throwing my resume out there, started applying for stuff. Got rejected, of course. But the one person who call me back or who hired me was James Clifford, old Cliffy, and with the Seattle Mariners. And I was just like, actually, I applied. I think it was like I applied on January 7th. January 8th is my birthday, and that's when he called and hired me. So he hired me on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Great birthday present.
That's awesome.
He probably doesn't even remember that, but yeah. So I got with the Seattle Mariners. Took off spring training up in old Peoria, down in old Peoria, and I guess the rest is history. I guess I will say one of my first experiences in pro ball was we had this board meeting, and coming from Tennessee to Arizona, of course, the time difference had me all jacked up, and I actually nodded off in a meeting, my very first meeting, and Cliffy ripped me a new one, man. And he was the first thing smoking if I ever did that again.
So you went from college straight to pro ball.
Straight to pro ball,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a tough jump.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Cliffy, he kind of went with his gut on me, man.
Yeah.
That's what he told me. He said he was just he liked me, and I was now looking back. I don't know if I would have hired me, being the fact that I didn't play baseball. So I was a football guy. I wanted to play baseball, but family just stick to football.
Yeah.
Play a little baseball. I don't know what position I would have played, but I definitely wish I would have played baseball. Love it. But yeah, I seem like all the jumps that I've made in my career have gone from like, you know, pretty uncharacteristically, like from places that doesn't really trend according to the business. So
Right.
blessed for that.
Yeah, definitely. So you and I met in 2008 in Clinton, Iowa. You were the
Clinton, Iowa,
yeah.
man.
I was going to ask, that's, in my opinion, no disrespect to everybody, but I'm about to disrespect. It's the worst city I've ever been to.
Oh my God! I tell everybody that. Again, sorry, Clintonites. It is at least hopefully they've improved, but it was the worst city and the worst year of my life in Clinton, Iowa. It was miserable, man.
Yeah, damn.
Good pizza and it was cheap gas, but yeah, man, that's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough.
So you spent 1 year there, right, with me, and then
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
and
I
then
mean,
you
like we did 3 seasons total with the Mariners. So I was fortunately, and I got when I left when Cliffy hired me, I was assigned to the AA team, which was in West Tennessee, Diamond Jackson, Tennessee. So I got to go to my hometown, which was like
wow.
what were the odds of that? What's the odds of that? So that was my first year. Second year was in Clinton, Iowa, and my third year was back in AA in West Tennessee. So
Got it. Okay.
that was awesome.
And I guess for people don't understand the minor league lifestyle, but would you say that just in that league, and what did you think coming from a football guy now going to minor league baseball at one of the lower levels, what that was like for you?
With AA, I thought it was okay. I kind of got like a pretty good idea that, how I was going to be riding on the bus, which I was used to, playing FCS football, every now, I think we flew like once a year, but obviously in conference, we rode the bus. So, I was okay with that, used to it. It was the whole, I think, managing things. Like, our first year in AA, my first year there, we worked out a Gold's Gym, and it was baseball was a little bit different back then. It was a lot more meatheadish. And then, of course, in Clinton, we worked out at the facility, which, of course, facility. So we didn't have very much of anything.
No.
But it challenged me to be creative. Sometimes, Cliffy would, encourage us to, hey, you might be at the park, and guys got to get his post game lift in. It might just be bands, you know what I mean? And sometimes it was, and sometimes I'll try to carry a little bit more. I try to go a little bit above and beyond, try to carry dumbbells and med balls and stuff like that on the road with us. But it was the same thing. Like it was a little bit different my third year because they brought in I forgot his name. The doctor, P3, not Dr. Elliott. Yeah,
okay.
So they brought in him and all his philosophy, and of course, you probably, I don't know if you don't.
I don't know him. Yeah.
Well, he brought him in, and I think it was us. It was the Mariners and the Angels, and I think somebody else. I can't think of other organizations. So he had 3 organizations that kind of basically outsourced their sports performance program to him and his minions, and they were kind of scattered throughout those organizations, and like it was tough, kind of getting guys to buy into that whole paradigm shift, because it was real sciencey, and you got baseball, which was how baseball is, it's archaic. You got the unwritten rules. They were kind of the last sport to really kind of catch on the trend of really like in depth in integrating sports science into everything. So
right,
getting the old guys. Everybody thought it was crap. Everybody hated it, especially I think it's because, baseball players they're routine, they're superstitious, and here we are implementing this new program in season when guys got to make some money.
Yeah.
So, challenging itself, but, it definitely made me a better coach.
So what made you want to get out of professional baseball and go back to college?
Living out of a suitcase.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it is. It was. I miss pro ball, and I kind of thought about going back, to baseball. But now I got 3 little girls, 5, 2, and 1, and I'm already, with this job, being a strength coach. Period. It keeps you away enough. So I want to be there for my girls. And at the time, I wanted to settle down. I think I might have been like 27 at the time. So I think that's when guys start to mature a little bit. We finally started
right.
with the ladies. And so I think mentally I was starting to kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. I want to kind of settle down and kind of have a little more routine to my life. So yeah, that's what happened, man. I kind of was just over the travel, man.
Okay. And then you found yourself at Stillman College. I never even heard of it. It's a small school, right?
A lot of people have not heard of
Yeah.
college. Stillman College is 3 miles away from the mighty University of Alabama. It's in
Oh, wow.
So I was the first strength coach there, created that program, which was an honor. And, I had so much freedom to kind of do, what I felt that we needed. We had some really good experiences there. I guess the crown jewel of Stillman College, one of them is Jeffrey Henderson, who won gold medal in the long jump in the 2016 Rio Games. So a lot of people don't know that. So a little FYI for everybody out there.
So you got to train him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he transferred from Hines Community College, and then I had him for 2 years at Stillman, and he's one of those guys who just, he's awesome. He's a lot like you, man. He's A1. He's one of the people that you want to keep around forever, yo.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. So after Stillman, you built that program up, and then you went to South Carolina State University.
No, South Alabama.
South Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The South, they get. Yeah, I got confusion too. So yeah.
That's far away from here.
Yeah. Down in Mobile. So it's like probably my first favorite city. My second favorite city being Memphis. But yeah, I love Mobile, man. It was that was an awesome experience. I wish I could have stayed there a little bit longer. I was only there a year and a half before the South Carolina State opportunity came up. But, it was my first taste, again, like we kind of, talked about before, like go from, an FCS school to a professional baseball to a Division II HBCU to, a mid-major, again, kind of moving on up.
Yeah.
And kind of semi-big-time football. We playing against the big boys. I remember playing against North Carolina State. And we played against San Diego State too at the time. So, and they were really good. But yeah, it was a great experience. Again, got to see some guys go off to the NFL and CFL, and got a chance to help the women's program actually win their women's track program win their first Sun Belt Conference championship. So, and that's all. Honestly, kind of me being a former athlete, that's kind of like my thing, and just winning. It kind of helps me get my competitive edge. I just, being able to coach. And that's what I love about this business. So that was fun. And of course, down in Mobile, you got the best seafood. I don't care.
So I played in Mobile too for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
I
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the crawfish, the best oysters. I miss that place so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun spot to be for sure. Especially, minor league cities are weird, and there's weird quirks at every city, but that is a cool place to play.
Yeah. If you can get over the humidity and the rain, I think it rains. Somebody told me it has the second most rainfall behind Seattle, as in Mobile.
I've never seen like black clouds like that, where it's just like, what is going to happen right now?
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. It's a great city.
And after you were in South Alabama, then you went to South Carolina State.
They made me an offer I could not refuse. So I had
Were you looking or no?
Yeah, I was working. Yeah, I was still in South Alabama, and I was going to stay there, until it was time. And I didn't think the time would come that fast. But I had one of my fraternity brothers was taking another job, and the former AD who was at Stillman was the AD at South Carolina State. So I had two guys there who knew me.
Nice.
And then it just so happened, it was like, I got somebody in mind for the job, and then they gave me a call. And at the time, I wasn't really making that much at South Alabama. I had a wife, and at the time, my oldest, one girl, and she was like, yeah, let's improve the quality of our life a little bit here. So yeah, we definitely, we jumped on that, made that drive to Orangeburg, South Carolina, which I didn't even know.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know where that was, man. And honestly, I had the time of my life, man. It's one of those college towns that, unfortunately, everything shuts down early, man. It's still small town living, mom and pop. You're not going to catch a lot of franchises there, but it's a great city. If you're okay with everything moving at a snail's pace, it's slow and country, man, but it's awesome. We've got, of course, people probably know now Darius Leonard, who was the second round pick, first overall since his draft day, first overall in the second round. And he's with the Indianapolis Colts, went on to be All-Pro, defensive, two-time All-Pro. Let me give him his credit. One of my fraternity brothers also.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then it's a lot of guys. We got another guy who's coming up, Alex Taylor, who should be getting drafted somewhere around maybe the third or fourth round. The history behind, Javon Hargraves, who just signed, he's the highest paid nose tackle in the league right now. He went to South Carolina State. He was before me, though. I helped him around on Pro Day, but I didn't get to coach him, unfortunately. But I kind of shout him out on Instagram and stuff every now and then. But the list goes on and on. Alex Brown, who just won a Super Bowl ring with the Kansas City Chiefs, he was a free agent. I'm trying to give him some pub right now.
Yeah.
The list goes on. Fortunately, I've been really blessed to kind of work with those guys and be able to push from the track and field standpoint. Tyrell Richard, he's on Team USA from South Carolina State. I got to work with him. And then Demeet Kemp, I think he won nationals in indoor. So it was a hotbed of talent. The history, Deacon Jones, if you're familiar with football.
Yeah.
He was at South Carolina State. I can't think of his name now. Donnie Shell, new Hall of Famer. He just got inducted to the NFL Hall of Fame. And a lot of people don't know South Carolina State has more NFL Hall of Famers than any other school in the state of South Carolina, and that includes Clemson and the University of South Carolina.
Whoa!
So there's more FYI. I'm a plethora of by the way. So
I need that kind of stuff. That's good stuff, man. That's
that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think a smaller school like that would produce that kind of NFL talent, especially with Clemson and South Carolina right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said the same thing. And when and one thing about it, I think they just released, somebody just wrote an article. I don't know who published it, but they said like South Carolina State is like a must. You have to stop there as a scout to see what's there, because there's always been something there.
Wow.
Diamond in the rough. My first year there, they had guys on NFL rosters. My first year there, and which was crazy. So it's dropped down since, but Javaris Lehman was an offensive lineman. There's another guy who's probably going to get probably be a free agent this year, a free agent pickup, Shaq Crouch. So they go get him, man. They go get him. They just kind of South Carolina. Another factoid: South Carolina has the most players in the NFL per capita than any other state.
Okay.
I found that out through an NFL scout too. Again, mind blowing for me.
Yeah, well, most people don't when you think of the South, they think Florida, Georgia, Texas, Louisiana, all the talent's there. Yep. But there's a lot of talent in South Carolina.
Absolutely. DeAndre Hopkins. Of course, I can't think of his name right now.
Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson, yeah. So then you got, what's the name? Who just won Defensive Player for the Patriots? The corner.
Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore from Rock Hill, South Carolina. So, they put him out, man.
Wow. Obviously you must have had a great experience there, but you made the jump to your first big break, I guess you could call it, to the big time, to Purdue. So what was that process like?
Man, it was kind of similar to how it worked out with Cliffy. I applied again. Fraternity brothers looking out for me, man. They, they were connected to the staff here, and he asked me if I was interested, and I was like, Purdue? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm okay. I'm pretty comfortable at South Carolina State. I want that Power 5 experience. Just to be able to prove myself that I can coach on this level.
Yeah.
And and I applied and sent my resume, and the head guy at the time. He's going on now to the NFL. He called me the next day, and when we talked, and essentially offered me the job the day after I sent him my resume. So I don't know, God works in mysterious ways. He's looking out for you, boy, I guess, man. So it's been a journey. I can tell you that, coming to West Lafayette. Indiana I think is the Florida of the Midwest. I think how Florida is his own thing. Florida is not really the South. I think Indiana is not really the Midwest. Indiana is Indiana for some reason. People are weird here. But.
Yeah, Florida is definitely – there's always something weird happening in Florida.
It's something weird happening in Florida. I think this place is kind of like a mix of everything, and maybe it's just me and my Southern self not having actually lived anywhere outside of the South, other than being in Peoria for spring training. So yeah, it's been an adventure, and being here. The Power 5 life it's like being when we went to a bowl game in South Alabama. That was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Even though it was a small bowl, it was a community. But for me, it was like the creme de la creme. So being here, every week seems like that. So every Saturday, now I'm working with just football. So that kind of helps my brain. But at the same time, I kind of miss, working with like softball, and women's basketball, which is actually my favorite sport to watch. Another factoid about me, I'd rather watch women's college basketball than really football. Even though I played football, I would watch women's basketball games. Lady Vols, RIP Pat Summitt,
Dang. Even though they're, nothing against the women's game. It's not as exciting as the men's game. So what is it,
It's kind of like baseball. It's like an acquired taste, and you kind of have to people be like, "Oh, baseball is slow and boring." I'm just like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, it's a game with strategy. It's man on man. Like, you know how much of a man honestly, baseball players are the toughest guys, are the toughest athletes. I know that football is a contact sport. I know that hockey players fight and have all these concussions. Listen, there's something about somebody who can sit there. You've got hit with a baseball. People out there, if you have never gotten hit with a baseball, you got to trust somebody, a guy that you don't even know, don't even like, don't have your best interest in mind. Ball as hard as he can, sometimes reaching over 100 miles per hour. That looks like it's going to hit you in the head, and you're expecting it to break at the last second. And then sometimes it doesn't. And you may get hit in the head, you may get hit in the back, you may get hit in the leg, and you got to come back from that.
Yeah.
Listen, that's a whole nother pain. I've seen people eye socket get crushed, man, and orbit. Man, listen, that's no. Whole different ball game. Football, I'll hit all day. Give me some pads, yeah. I'll smack this dude. Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. You can have it.
Also, as most people know, baseball, it's a game of failure too. So I think a lot of the toughness is mental toughness too, because
I swear,
you're going to fail a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people, I've seen that. Man, that's a huge aspect of it. A lot of people don't get that either. Like, you got to have some resiliency to you, be able to come back from, hey, I got cut, try to go to another team, and again, when you get in those slumps, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? You got to pull yourself up, find you a slump buster somehow.
Especially in some of those cities that we were in.
Clinton, Iowa has the best slump.
Oh, jeez.
Those dudes were so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good time.
It was a fun. That is. If I miss anything, it became a business, so it's not the joy is kind of gone at some point. It's a job, but just being around the guys, like playing cards in the locker room, just all that stuff. Playing music and messing around with people, and that was fun.
That was fun. And then, of course, the Spanish word of the day, learning Spanish every day, that was always fun. And then hearing like the different, everybody's story. Everybody has a story. And then, you get to hear like some of them, are awesome. And then some of them are tragic, especially guys coming from those third world countries who are just trying to make it. They get a ham sandwich every day. It's like steak. You know what I mean? So that's what I miss most. And I think that would kind of tugs on me a little bit, is that wanting to get back to that, man. Just the camaraderie. Ain't nothing like a locker room, man.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? Do you like coaching better or playing better?
If I could go back and play, I would definitely go back and play. I wish there was a way I could do both. Every now and then, when I'm walking past a guy, I give a guy a little bump every now and then, let them know I still got it. But these guys are a lot bigger than what I'm used to. So sometimes they're smaller than me, but they're super strong, like surprisingly strong. And I don't know if it's me getting old or they're really just this strong, and that kind of hurt a little bit. So I had to check myself a little bit, man. But now that I'm getting older, but yeah, I think I would definitely, if I could go back and put my hand in the dirt, man, again, man, I would love to do it.
No, I hear you. That's where the passion starts, right?
Absolutely.
But you've gotten to build programs on your own too. That had to be pretty cool as well. Strength and conditioning programs as far like with all sports.
Yeah. It's that's why I miss about, again, just kind of working with everybody, because just working with football now, kind of like with baseball, it was you're dealing with one sport, and then sometimes like the games in baseball weren't boring, but just like everything else, practice was boring. You know, I don't want to watch a bullpen. I don't want to watch batting practice. You know, but game, you know, and you know, you see those unwritten rules, you know, and all this, and you see people start to stick their chest out a little bit. You know, people getting showed up, you know, pimping home runs and football. You know, we don't really have those in our culture, but it's kind of like it's besides running the score up on somebody. You know, it's kind of one of those things you just don't really do, but it happens. But I think, you know, one thing I miss about just working with, like, you know, other sports, you know, women's sports, which is just that variety. And again, just getting different people's story, you know, and I think that's what I love about being a coach, period, is just you get to meet. I'm not really a people person. I'm an introvert, but because of the nature of the job, I have to deal with people. So it takes me a while to warm up. Once I warm up to you, I want to know everything about you, you know, that you're willing to share anyway. Right. I do miss that aspect, but we got 100+ players, so they keep you busy enough to, you know, enough people to kind of keep you stimulated.
Right.
You know,
now that you're at a Power 5, you finally, what are the, like, can you compare the facilities, obviously, from, you know, D2 to Power 5 with money behind it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody knows the money's crazy, you know, in comparison to, you know, the places I've been, you know, at South Carolina State. It was, if you ever see the weight room, we had 2,500 square foot weight room. We had 8 half racks, and it was basically the bare bones. So we had all the dumbbells you needed, all the barbells you needed, Olympic and the Texas bars. We had all the bumper plates. We hit all the essentials, and, you know, and that's what you do. You know, you don't really get those things that's gonna be specialized for anything like some kind of machine. So, but, you know, here at Purdue, I mean, you got everything you could probably imagine. You know, I mean, we got, you know, everything. We have of course, it's a huge weight room. Then we got 12 double-sided racks. We had like 24 stations total, if I remember right. Because we got hammer strength on both sides, machines. Well, I mean, you name it, we got it. I walked, actually, before I took the job. Well, actually, afterwards, I looked it up, like the facilities. Just kind of curious, and I was just like, yo, people talk about like Alabama's weight room and all this. And I'm just like, Purdue ain't half stepping at all, man. Like, this is a nice setup, and it is. It's awesome to come in every day. It's almost like, you know, when it's time for me to work out, it's like I don't even know what I want to do because it's like
so many options in there.
Yeah, it's just like, man, you know, I can maybe I'm kind of lazy today. I kind of maybe just work on some buys and tries on the cable machine. You know, you know, at South Carolina State, of course, like we didn't have anything. It's like, yeah, you got the worst thing I hate, or the thing I hate about working out myself, is loading and unloading weight. And I know it's a contradiction because, you know, hey, when you finish it, clean it up. You know, that's always a thing for me. I'm just like, man, at least when I was in charge, I was just like, I get it later. so yeah, man, it's awesome being here. Of course, the resources, the food, you know, I mean, I don't have to come out of my pocket for anything. At South Carolina State and at Stillman, I had to do that because, I mean, it was a lower level and the resources weren't anywhere compared to this. Like, I think we probably spend probably in a quarter of the month, I would assume that we're probably spending what would be a year's budget at those other places. So it's like, but it's nothing. I mean, but, you know, you kind of expect it. I mean, everybody knows that. But again, the resources are awesome. It's fun. It's big time football, man. And I wish I kind of would have gotten a chance to experience that game against Ohio State when Ohio State was number 2 in the nation. Purdue, the Trent game. I've watched that game, honestly, probably like about 12 times. Like, just highlights, just the whole game itself. I mean, I still get chills. Like, that game was crazy. It was an awesome atmosphere. The fan base here is awesome. So it's fun. It's fun. It's definitely fun.
Would you say West Lafayette is better than Clinton, Iowa?
Yes. Anything is better than Clinton, Iowa.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's not better than Clinton, Iowa is jail. So, but yeah, now I will say, let me tell you this. Only because you can identify with this. The other, you know, it's a couple of times. I don't know which way the wind blows, but I still smell the dog food smell for some reason. Like, and I'm like, the first time, like, when we moved here, it was, first of all, that move was just traumatic. But that's a whole nother story for another time, I guess. But man, something happened, and like I walked outside. I think I was going to my truck, and I was like, "There's that smell again." Like where in the world is that smell coming from, bro? Like I thought I would never smell that dog food smell ever again in my life. And every now and then it passes through here, bro. And it's like PTSD or something. And I just like, no, let me out.
That was the worst. Yeah, for those who don't know, Clinton, Iowa, or I guess around that area has these dog food plants that are just spitting out these fumes of, it's the worst. It makes the whole city smell.
It's terrible. Somebody else has to, like, we got to YouTube that, man. Somebody else has to know about this.
For sure. Yeah. So the process of, I think I read you recently got your master's. Is that right?
Yeah. So I put it off, like, most people, I'm kind of, here's my moment of honesty. When I was in undergrad, my undergrad GPA doesn't reflect my intelligence, as many people by now know. There's a lot of idiots with degrees. So, and my philosophy in undergrad was C's get degrees.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Grand Theft Auto, and I'm going to kiss girls, and I'm going to party. And then, did I do enough to pass? That's all I need. And then, this little thing called a recession hit, and everybody kind of upped their ante, and now you need a master's degree for this and that. So, fortunately and blessedly, I've been able to get by without getting it, without having a master's. And, a couple people advised me, you should just go ahead and get it. And I finally went ahead and did it. It took me about 2 years, I think, online, had some kids while I was getting it. And so it was a struggle working full time, then coming home being hubby and being daddy, and then having to do homework, But yeah. Got my master's sports administration or sports management from American Public.
Very nice, man. Congrats. It's good.
Appreciate it.
I remember when you were trying to get your CSCS back in 2008, right?
Whoa.
So you were trying to study for that test, and you're gone from home, you're coaching us, like it was crazy. It was a tough time, I'm sure.
Man, listen, bro, that test, I'm sure that it's almost like a lot of people they go to school and want to be engineers, but then they actually get into the engineering program and they're like, I'm gonna go be a math teacher.
Yeah.
That program will make or break you. So the CSCS is a lot like that, man. And it's tough. I took that test probably 2.5 times, which is actually kind of normal. But I passed like the practical part. There's 2 parts to it, the scientific part and the practical part. And the practical part, I knocked it out. That's basically, you being able to coach in the weight room, like how things should run and set up, just general knowledge stuff that you get from just being in the weight room, itself. But the science part, man, you get down to nutrition. You actually have a little bit of math in there, and I suck at math. Another factoid about me: 2 things I'm not good at: parking and math. I can parallel park. I for some reason, but just pulling in regular, I'm gonna be crooked. I'm gonna be on the line. I'm at the back up, do it again. But anyway, the CSCS, man, it was tough. It was that was honestly, and that kind of added to the stress of being in Clinton, Iowa, man, because it was like I literally got depressed. You know what I mean? I was, just because like I was sitting there, I'm like, I know this stuff. Why am I not passing the test? And come to find out, I think it was Matt Toth. He was there with us, right, in Clinton, the trainer. So they upgrade, of course, as science comes down the pipeline. They upgrade the books every few years. So I was studying the old book, and I'm just sitting there. He was like, "Man, you still haven't passed it?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I missed it." But it was like it would different if I was, just bombing the test, but I was failing like by 2 points, 1 point at one time. I remember that, and that would really make me mad. Just like I missed it by a point. And he was like, "Well," he said, "You studying the old book?" I was like, "Oh, what do you mean old?" He was like, "Yeah, bro, there's a new book." And I said, "Well, I talked to some old professors, and he told me that I should be good. Information. It's not going to be that much information to come down the pipeline to change." He was like, "No, Swift, you need to get the new book." So I got the new book, and I was like, "Yo, there's so much more new stuff in here." And as soon as I finished studying that book, I took the test, passed, and knocked it out. And it was the whole time, like I could have saved myself, because that test is expensive. It's like $350 or $400 back then. I think it's a little bit more now. And it's like, bro, I've wasted so much money, and all I had to do was just get the right text. So yeah, like you said, man, it was, going to you guys' workout, taking you guys to workouts, soon as everybody was done, I go back to the hotel room if we was on the road. Be like, I can't nap. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out a couple chapters, and it was tough, man. It was tough. I actually did better studying on the road than I did when I was at Clinton.
Yeah, definitely. You're in the hotel. You got more time. You're away from distractions, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I didn't have my own office either. So, you know, I don't know if you remember, like me and Matt, we shared like that room. Half of it was the training room, and half of it was the weight room, which was a bench and some dumbbells. And
it's definitely lower level, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times that I don't want to revisit. Guys.
No. All right, we're back with my buddy Keith Swift, the strength and conditioning coach at Purdue University. Just wanted to spend some more time with him and ask him a few more questions. So as far as strength and conditioning goes, what do you think the role is with your role with athletes are, and kind of how do you help them get where they need to go from fans from the outside just watching the games on TV?
Well, I think, and maybe I'm being biased, and a lot of people have given us the, I guess, the cross to bear that we are the most important people. And when it comes to college athletics, really, you know, in the sports world, period. And the reason for that being is for the simple fact that in college, you're going to spend the most amount of time with the strength and conditioning coach in comparison to your sport coach, just per the NCAA rules. I think that the majority of the role, and actually I was texting a colleague yesterday, and we was talking about a couple of guys in the business that we kind of, you know, like, oh, this guy's a jerk and all that, and that he said that this one guy we were talking about was a good coach, but just a bad person. And I said, that's a contradiction. And the reason why I say that is because coaching is an art form, and it's an art form because of the human component of it. You get a lot of people can reel off all these theories and the science and all that, but if you can't communicate that to an athlete to where they understand it and being able to apply it, then you're just a walking encyclopedia. If people really remember what an encyclopedia is nowadays, but and we've seen there's tons of those guys, you know, who unfortunately call themselves coaches, and again, just, you know, I think there's this combination, and I think now as a trend to where people are starting to finally accept that there's an aspect to where you can be the meathead and you can be the nerd, and I think that this is the best time to be Keith Swift, because I think I kind of but I think the drawback to that is, like, ESPN did a piece on strength and conditioning coaches this past fall, and, you know, it kind of highlighted like how, you know, mean we are, and like how you just got to be this juice guy. I hate this word. If you follow me, I'm on a one-man campaign to destroy the juice culture. You know, have enthusiasm, have passion for what you do. I would do this job for free if I could, if I didn't have mouths to feed and bills to pay. But for the love of God, like, for my colleagues out there who may be listening, stop headbutting helmets, stop breaking boards on your backs. There's ways, if you can't use words, again, to get your point across, to convey instruction and everything, then you probably aren't a coach. You're just a person who has been appointed in the position.
Just a hype man.
Absolutely. You're a Flavor Flav. You're a Flavor Flav. I'm saying it. Keith Swift, I'm saying it. You're a Flavor Flav. You're useless. You're just yelling and screaming. And so you're not making anybody better. And I think that at its core, that's what this business is that you have to make people better. Because I think my personal, I guess shield is that I believe that because we spend so much time with athletes, you have a moral responsibility to try to not only lead by example. You're ever going to fall, but just try to teach, especially college athletes, to be better people. You know, in America, you know, everybody knows that the pedestal that sports is on. So I feel like if I can affect, and I told this story thousands of times, one of the things that my bleeding heart is before this business is that if I could I could help change the life of an athlete who goes on to become a coach, who's going to in turn coach other athletes who are going to follow that same moral compass or conviction, and they go on to become, coaches, and they go on and pass on that same thing that they got from their coach, which was me, then in some shape, form, or capacity, I've simply changed the world a little bit, hopefully for the better. And I think that, even if you don't go on to become a coach, you go on to become an athlete, and, you go and you read a book to a kid, for National Read Across America Day or whatever. And this kid is absolutely infatuated with this college athlete that they get to see play on Saturdays. And he goes and he's serving as a role model. And these kids want to be like that guy because he's a good guy. But he's a good guy because maybe I said something that maybe kept this kid out of trouble or maybe made him change his life. And again, I think that stuff like that, I don't think coaches really, because I remember stuff that my coach said to me in high school that didn't necessarily ruin my life, but it didn't necessarily help me either. And I think we kind of talk about like, what's the worst thing a coach has ever said to you? And when one of my high school coaches, football coaches, told us we were the most ignorant SOBs he's ever seen in his life. And I was just like, because this whole time I thought I had this love relationship with my coach, and you just call me SOB, and I'm just like, I don't even want to play anymore. But at the same time, it kind of made me like, at the time, the culture was different. I mean, you can't really get away with stuff like that now. But
well, that's the thing. Is now they're embracing analytics more and science more,
absolutely.
So you can have a brain and not just be a football meathead and just try to motivate that way. Like, put some thought behind it or science behind it.
Absolutely, and you see that, and that's evident with the recent hire with at Alabama. The guy came from Indiana with two guys. One was pretty much the hands-on, the practical, and you got the scientific. There that is again. Thanks, NSCA and your CA. So you got one guy who's kind of the sports science, and he's gonna kind of, he translates that and kind of helps the guy who's more so hands-on guy to kind of actually apply everything from an actual coaching standpoint. And I think the one thing, to kind of make it relative, and again, I think you were going like when we did the P3 with Marcus Elliott that third year when I was at the Mariners. I think that was the biggest thing, is that you had this one guy who was like super brains, but at the same time, he didn't know how to convey how this was going to help the guys become better athletes. And so I think that hindered the learning curve or the acceptance curve. That, the guys could be like, okay, I see what he's saying. I see this is why we should do this, and that, and the other. But again, I think that college football is finally starting to trend to where there's a lot more sports science. Like here at Purdue, we're integrating a lot of stuff too. We've kind of been doing that. I think they did a piece on LSU and how they're doing velocity-based training using cameras to measure bar speed. It's not necessarily, guys putting like 1 million pounds on the back anymore. It's about, you putting a significant amount of weight on and moving it, at a high rate of speed, So I think that, again, it's a great time right now. Things are kind of marrying, and even in I think in the Olympic sports, you get to like the baseballs and the basketball sports, like that stuff is. I think they were kind of a little bit further ahead of football from a standpoint. Again, there's a little bit more. Hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna let you do it. In regards from a sport coach, a head coach gives you more leeway. Whereas with football, football coaches have a tendency to kind of think they know, a little bit more than what they do.
Yeah.
Kind of say, hey, I saw this guy doing it, so let's do what they're doing. Just like in all sports, it's a copycat thing. Hey, it worked great for them, so let's do what they're doing. And it doesn't necessarily work that way. So
yeah.
Again, I think it takes a really smart person to be able to decipher all that and be able to apply what you need.
Plus, I mean, you work with hundreds of athletes, and they come and go every single year. And most of those guys are not going to go to the NFL. It's just by the numbers.
Absolutely, right.
But you're going to help out guys for other stuff too, like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the hard part. And I think the hard pill for everybody to swallow sometimes is that, they're not – everybody's not going to – no school's going to bring in all Power 5 – or not Power 5, but 5-star kids, So, and that's okay. And you're going to have sometimes some guys who are 2-star or no-star guys end up being your All-Americans and, go on to the NFL, et cetera, So, I mean, it's I don't know. I think I've been blessed with the ability to be a bit more objective and analytical. And for me, I kind of sit back. I don't really say a whole lot when I see the people getting like carried away and pulling their hair out about stuff that they can't really control, but really missing the part they can control, which is the art form of coaching. So yeah.
And I think you also came from a smaller school too. So you didn't come from like, oh, you went to Ohio State, so your standards already way up here.
Right.
You've seen everything literally from the bottom all the way to the top now.
Right. Yeah. And that's the great thing. Actually, me and my colleague were talking about that. It was just like, a lot of people kind of chase the logo, and honestly, I did. I still am, to be honest. I want that Power 5 life. I mean, I've again D2 resource. I've been FCS where I had to pay for stuff out of my own pocket, and then and take food off my table. Money out of my home. To make things kind of run a little more smoothly, and to kind of sacrifice for the my athletes, because in fact that's what I just simply believed in, and I did want an opportunity to not have to do that. And of course make some pretty good money. Which I'm hoping is going to happen here real soon. But when you're on the grassroots level, you're on the bottom level, you have to. I think it's a whole different appreciation that you have, and for hard work. And science is going to be there. It's going to come and it's going to change. Kids are now bigger and stronger and faster than they've ever been in the history of sports. And I think the one thing that has never changed is hard work. And I'm an old country boy. Grew up with pigs, chasing pigs, and all this, and picking peas and corn and planting and harvesting and all that. So I know about hard work, and I'm not afraid of it. I like calluses on my hands. Being out of the weight room, hands getting a little bit smooth, and I think that might be part of the reason why I'm getting crazy. So I can pick up something, man, and rough my hands up a little bit. But yeah, hard work is always going to be there. I think it's what separates people, from in coaching and in sports, period.
Totally. Well, that all great information, but I want to go a little bit off the board now. So thank you for all that. Now we get to have fun. So you and I talked about wrestling for a long time, and it's funny how you meet people, and a lot of people were wrestling fans just over the years. So, do you still watch wrestling? And also, who are your favorite wrestlers?
I've been watching wrestling since January 8th, 1984, and that is born. So I've been watching wrestling my whole entire life. My dad was a big wrestling fan. My mom not so much. But always like you said, it's kind of crazy when I think about it. Like you just as you kind of grow and people kind of like, I don't really watch wrestling. You always kind of tend to meet up with people who are wrestling fans.
At some point, they watched it. A lot of people.
Yeah. And everybody was real big. Of course, everybody watched it during the Attitude Era, and then the Monday Night Wars. But yeah, I do still watch it. I don't like how the COVID-19 has affected it because there's no crowd, especially during WrestleMania, and then the Monday after WrestleMania, which is almost better than actual WrestleMania because of the crowd. You never know who's going come up on move up on the roster or be brought back on that Monday night, and it's almost like a Royal Rumble again. But to answer your other question, my favorite wrestlers of all time would be The Undertaker, of course, but not the American Badass.
Right.
Phenom. I like the Prince of Darkness. I like the Dark Undertaker. So, and then probably, I don't know. Now my new guy. Oh, Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
That's my dude, man. Like I'm like Bray, and I'm a Braun Strowman fan too. So I'm finally glad they put the strap on him. He's the Universal Champ right now. Again, I wish there was a crowd behind him to kind of give it a little bit more oomph, But yeah, man, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, my dude right now, and The Undertaker.
When that bell hits, it's like, dude, look out, man. When Undertaker.
It ain't. I still I go I will get on WWE Network, man. Like since now I stay up until like 4 or 5 in the morning sometimes, and I'll get on WWE Network and I'll just watch old Undertaker matches, man. And I just it's like it's new again, This man, I know who's gonna win. I know what's gonna happen. It's just like again that you get like Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. Shout out.
Oh, the best.
Tennessee, baby. Jerry Lawler on the mic, man, and it's just different. The crowd going crazy. It was awesome, man. I love it.
So you never liked Stone Cold? My guy's The Rock. So those two.
Yeah, but it's like I'm kind of one of those guys who I kind of go against the trend. So like everybody, Stone Cold was great. Stone Cold is great. I follow him on Instagram. I still love him when he comes back and does his thing. You know what I mean? Love to see him stun people. But I just think The Undertaker was just always my dude. It's almost like how everybody loved Jordan. I was always a Scottie Pippen guy. Like, I always was. I had the Scottie Pippen jersey. And like now that the Last Dance thing is out, now everybody's like, oh, Pippen this guy. Man, no, bro. No, you don't jump on the Scottie Pippen bandwagon now. You're like 30 years too late, bro. Take a hike. Pippen, baby. It's my guy. So, yeah.
Dude, it was crazy to find out how underpaid he was. And, I mean, he signed the contract, but he hadn't won the championships yet. So I don't think he knew his value yet.
Yeah, man. I think, again, we were talking about analytics. I don't think the analytics was there at the time, and people didn't really think about it. And you can't really, now there's no way in the world. That only happens in music now where you sign horrible deals like that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited for even this Sunday too. More documentaries on this.
Man,
it's been good.
They did an awesome job. The documentary is awesome.
Yeah. What else do I want to ask you about wrestling? So you do still watch it as much as you used to?
Yeah. It's hard now because, well, right now this time of year it's just because of the whole Corona thing is kind of ruining it. Because it's something about. When, I don't know if you remember a couple of WrestleManias ago when the Hardy Boys came back, and I think it might have been in LA, matter of fact.
Oh.
And like they came out and nobody knew they were coming back, and like the crowd went bananas, and then I always get chills. I got chills right now just thinking, like that's it, man. It's almost like when the Rock's music hits, if you smell, and the crowd just go crazy, or
yeah,
Stone Cold comes out and the crowd just go crazy, man. Like, that's the stuff I miss. And it's hard to watch now because you don't get that pop. And then it's like you get that dead airspace where it's like it's broadcasting 101. Like, the commentators got to talk, or play some music in the background or something, So it's a little tough now, but, for the sake of just being a wrestling fan, you still want to try to keep up with storylines if and when all of this Corona stuff, is over with and you kind of get that crowd element back.
Yeah. Last thing, just even though the XFL folded, I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think about it. Did it I actually kind of liked it, and I hope the NFL takes some notes from it as far as like rule changes and stuff. What do you think about the XFL?
Man, you know what was crazy? I just found out the XFL folded like a day ago.
Oh, really?
Yesterday, I didn't even know, and I think I was just scrolling on Twitter and I saw it, and I was just like, "What? Like what? Like, no, I know what it was. Andrew Luck's dad is suing Vince McMahon." So that's when I was like, what's going on? And it's like, even though the XFL is, is filed bankruptcy, I'm just like, wait a minute. I don't think anybody really expected to be as good as it was. I loved it. It was, again, not from a standpoint of like just, oh man, I get to watch football. It was just like, it was actually some good football. And it was like the fact that the surprise interviews when somebody.
Too many interviews.
Love that. Like, oh, you just fumbled the football. Maybe perhaps cost your team the game. What do you think? And it's like, no.
What do you say to a kick? Like, the kicker just missed a kick. What is he going to say to you? Like,
I just hope that Vince, he like kind of trademarked somehow patented some of these things, like the interview. I don't know if you even can do that, but we just somehow like can profit from it, like how the online, the on-field cameras that the NFL does, with the zip line and everything. That's XFL stuff, man. And it's like I want to see Vince win. Like in this case, he's the underdog, and he's never been the underdog. But in comparison, I don't think they're comparing. I think he did the right approach this time, not trying to compete with the NFL, but just kind of working with them. And then even with my experience talking to scouts, they were like they're hoping that it would take off.
Yeah, it's a good minor league system for these guys.
Exactly. And it's, we had actually Justin Evans, was one of my former athletes from South Carolina State. He's with the Bengals. He got picked up by the Ravens originally out of college, then with the Bengals and the Cardinals, and he was on the Dallas team. I want to say.
Okay.
And in the XFL, and again, it was something that he needed that repetition, that game action, and that's what a lot of scouts wanted to see. So I don't know why the NFL just doesn't perhaps just partner. Just get with your boy Vinnie Mac, man. Get with Vince. Put your
I'm actually surprised that it folded because I thought Vince McMahon had deep pockets. Like he'd be able to handle something like this, but maybe it's.
I think it's. I think it. I think he did. He made it with the whole was 8 teams this time, and then even the crowds were pretty decent. I mean, you could see like at that top, they made everybody come down to the bottom level.
Right.
That was great. I think that what probably got him was the whole Corona thing, and not that you're really going to expect a profit from ticket sales, but marketing and all that, buying TV time, because it was growing in popularity. I mean, ESPN was helping it because, it was something to talk about and you're offering highlights. And you actually had some good players. I think overall the quarterback play across the league was trash, but,
right.
The PJ Walker, I think, that guy was good, So, yeah, you had some good spots, man. I miss it. I hope probably the third time won't be the charm.
Hopefully it can come back. Well, and they're not going to be able to get fans in there for a while. I don't know all these sports won't be able to. So
yeah, that's what I was actually talking to one of the track coaches from Purdue yesterday, and he was just like he's hoping that at least football season gets off the ground, And I'm thinking like if some way that you can bring people into the stands or bring a crowd in, everybody mask up, everybody socially distant. Maybe perhaps you could do it that way. There's the capacity crowd probably will never be the same.
Yeah.
And ironically, to tie both of those things in, it's crazy, is that I came across JBL's Instagram. So, he's, financial guru, and he was talking about stocks and stuff, which me and you've talked about stocks as well. But he talked about about the U-shaped curve and the V curve, and how this economy is going to bounce back. And he was just explaining he don't think it'll ever bounce back. It'll never be a V recovery. And I thought he kind of went on to explain the restaurants that could hold, that would be packed and you'd be on a wait, before the Corona, you won't see that again. Like everybody's going to be, it's going to have half the capacity, if they're, which I hope this, we can get back to normal, man. I don't like people, and I kind of miss people.
We're humans. We're supposed to interact with each other,
Yeah. I think people, especially, and that's one thing, going back, being here in West Lafayette, man, I don't know if it's a Midwest thing or a Northern thing, coming from the South, we say, hey, we don't know you. Hey, how you doing? And I came in, even though if I don't speak, I'm going to give you a head nod or give you one of those. And it's like, people just look at you like, I don't know you. And I was like, yo, what's going on with these people? I expect that in New York or even out there in Old Cat, but it's Indiana. Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah. Hopefully it'll change after this whole thing's over.
I think that will change. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I think it will change, man. I think people will be more so, a lot friendly. I see people jogging all the time now, and I see random strangers.
Yeah, give them the wave.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it won't be the same, but hopefully we'll be better from it, not worse.
You know what? I've taken enough of your time today. Thank you very much. Loved it. It was great. I appreciate you coming on.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you for the honor of being in your virtual presence, my brother. Until next time, man.
Definitely. We'll have to do it again.
Absolutely. I'm with it.
All right. Thank you.